I honestly believed he would beg. I thought he would argue, explain himself, maybe even apologize for things I had already decided were his fault. I was so sure that rejecting him would finally put me in control. Instead, he quietly paid the bill, stood up, walked out of the restaurant, and disappeared from my life forever. And that moment still haunts me. Before I continue, if you enjoy real-life relationship stories with honest emotions, quiet consequences, and lessons that hit later than expected, please subscribe to this channel. These stories help people feel less alone, and this one taught me a truth I wasn't ready to face. Now, let me tell you what really happened. My name is Lauren. I'm 33 and I live in New Jersey. I'm not proud of everything I did, but this story deserves to be told honestly. For almost 2 years, I was in a relationship with a man named Daniel. He was steady, kind, predictable, the type of man people say is good on paper. And that was exactly the problem, at least in my mind back then. Daniel never raised his voice. He never played games. He showed up on time, remembered small details about my life, and treated me with respect. But somewhere along the way, I convinced myself that meant he was boring. I compared him to men from my past. Louder, more dramatic, more emotionally chaotic. And I confused chaos with passion. Looking back now, I see how wrong I was. The night everything ended, we were sitting at a quiet Italian restaurant we used to love. Candlelight, soft music, familiar smells. Daniel was relaxed, smiling, talking about a small weekend trip he thought we could take together. I barely listened. I had already rehearsed what I was going to say in my head. When the waiter walked away, I took a breath and said, "I don't think this is working anymore." Daniel paused. He didn't panic. He didn't interrupt. He just looked at me and waited. I went on, explaining how I felt stuck, how I needed space, how I wasn't sure he was the one. I expected resistance. I expected him to ask what he could change. I expected him to fight for us. Instead, he listened quietly. When I finished, he nodded once and said, "Okay." That single word threw me off completely. I waited for more, for emotion, for desperation, for something. He didn't give it to me. I felt uncomfortable with the silence, so I added, "I just think we're in different places." He replied calmly, "I understand." Inside, my confidence cracked. This wasn't how it was supposed to go. I pushed harder. I said things I didn't even fully believe. I mentioned how he wasn't ambitious enough, how the relationship felt too safe, how I wanted something different. He didn't defend himself. That hurt my ego more than any argument could have. The waiter returned with a check and placed it gently on the table. Daniel picked it up without looking at it, put his card down and handed it back. He didn't hesitate. He didn't ask to split it. He didn't make a point. He simply paid. Then he stood up, looked at me, not angrily, not sadly, just clearly, and said, "I hope you find what you're looking for." And then he walked away. No dramatic goodbye. No final speech. No begging. Just quiet dignity. I sat there frozen, staring at the empty chair across from me. Part of me expected him to come back, to turn around, to text me later that night. He never did. Days passed, then weeks. I reached out once, casually, pretending I needed closure. He replied politely, briefly, and distant. No bitterness. No emotion. Just boundaries. That scared me more than anger ever could. I started to notice his absence everywhere. No morning texts. No checking in. No presence. He didn't stalk my social media. He didn't ask mutual friends about me. It was like he erased himself from my world without making a scene. And slowly reality set in. The men I dated after him weren't exciting. They were inconsistent, self-centered, emotionally unavailable. Conversations felt shallow. Plans were always uncertain. I found myself missing things I once took for granted. Stability, effort, calm. I missed Daniel's quiet strength. About 6 months later, I ran into him by accident at a grocery store. He looked good, not just physically, but grounded, confident, peaceful. We talked briefly. He was kind, but distant. He told me he was seeing someone new, someone who appreciated him. I smiled and congratulated him. Then I cried in my car for 20 minutes. Because in that moment, I finally understood what I had done. I didn't reject him because he wasn't enough. I rejected him because I didn't know how to value consistency over chaos. He didn't beg because he respected himself. He didn't chase because he knew his worth. And that's what made losing him permanent. People think power in relationships comes from walking away dramatically or making the other person hurt. But real power, real strength, it's paying the bill, standing up, and never looking back. I learned that lesson too late. Now, when I think about love, I don't think about excitement first. I think about peace, respect, emotional safety. And I wonder if I'll ever find that again. Because the man who would have given me all of that, I pushed away, expecting him to beg, and he chose himself instead.